Today, boys, big news!
You're not gonna believe it.
Will you be joining me outside in a few minutes or so?
So there are things that are definitely working.
You got a jar or something? All the way up.
4 different guys.
Gordon Zaharias? Who the hell is Gordon Zaharias?
And you will not like it. That's what I'll do.
You're playing with fire.
And I
We're gonna be opening in person June 1st, Deering Acting Studio, opening the doors, mic drop.
You don't know how you are living.
It's the #1 format.
It's a very good format. It's the #1 format of all the acting schools. It really is, Joey. I gotta tell you.
Also, while we're in this voice, I may as well tell you this voice was featured on our most recent podcast, so go ahead and tune into that.
Would you say it was the #1 acting podcast?
I would say it was the #1 acting podcast.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody. What an amazing day, and amazing guest we got with us, all the way from LA. You in LA right now?
Yeah, I am.
Mr. Bradley Bazil. Do we still call you Bazil?
Yeah, call me Bazil.
Or is it Bedford now? Is it Bedford?
So I'm in this weird thing where I'm like, I'm gonna make the transition because I'm tired of people butchering my name.
Did I get it right? Is Bazil right?
Yeah, you got it perfect.
Hello. Where's my applause, Joey?
My bad.
Thank you. Bradley, dude.
Always give a brother an applause.
Man, I miss your smile, dude. You're looking good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I miss all you guys too. I hope everything's going good over there.
Dude, it's awesome. You're LA's treating you well, man. Your skin tone looks amazing.
Oh, thank you. It's that sunshine glow.
Yeah, you got the LA glow, exactly. and yes, I got the Data 3 glow. It's called bags under the eyes and big smiles.
You're good. You can get those same bags under your eyes if you just like go to sleep at 4 a.m. That's what I do.
Oh yeah, I do that too. Yeah. So, let's dive into your past a little bit, and we'll kind of start there by letting the audience get to know you a little bit. So, you're from Brooklyn? I didn't know you were from Brooklyn, man.
Yes, sir. Sir.
So you're kind of like bad, like you're like a bad boy turned good. Is that it?
Yeah.
I kind of thought everybody from Brooklyn had like an edge to them, like watch out, I'm from Brooklyn.
I think my personality type is just so upbeat typically and friendly and all that, which is probably why I wanted to get out to the West Coast so bad, because it's very me. But I do have Brooklyn tendencies, and I tend to get an attitude, or you know, if I'm impatient or I'm tested, like the Brooklyn comes out. And when the accent comes out, that's when you know too.
Yeah, I was. What was I gonna say a second ago? I can't remember. All right, good. So you're born to a large Haitian family. It says here. Talk to me about that.
Yes, sir. So my family is, my grandma moved here first, and then her kids started trickling into the States. They were like anywhere between like late teens to early 20s, and they started trickling into the States. That's how my family ended up here. I'm first generation.
That's amazing. You know, I don't know if you saw the episode. I had a guy on here named Paul from Nigeria just a few was it 4 or 5 days ago. So we were
Saturday,
we were doing this show across the world with a kid in Nigeria. He's gonna be in the class tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
That's awesome. How did you meet him?
He found us through the YouTube channel and through the different classes that we're teaching. That he reached out to one of our students out here, and then that's how we got connected with him. And I was like, dude, you should be on the show, man. Let's do it.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Pretty fun. So all right, so tell me more about Brooklyn, how you got into acting and how that happened.
So acting was like a happy accident. When I was in New York, I mostly focused on like drawing. Like I was super into drawing. That was my thing from the time I was like real small to all the way to when I was a preteen. Then I moved to Florida as a teenager. And my senior year, I kind of just got curious because we had acting classes. And actually, it was junior year. We had acting classes. And I just signed up for it as an elective. And I was like, maybe I'll like it. And I absolutely loved it. And mostly it was the fact that we had to actually write our own stuff to come in and perform. So we would have the freedom to write our own funny monologues, come in and perform them from the class, and I liked the effect that I got when I would perform something that I wrote. So that's how I kind of realized, okay, I kind of like this acting stuff. Then I got involved in school theater, musical theater, which kind of just sealed the deal and made me like the craft so much.
Nice. And then work brought you to Arizona, right?
Yes.
And that's where you found us. And I know you trained with us for over 3 years. So tell me, what was the difference when you came and trained with us? Like, what did you learn? Like, what was was there anything that opened up in a new way for you?
Yeah. So when you're doing high school level theater, there's there's only so much.
It's just the way he said it. It's
Joey, you're the best. You're the best audience member. Like you gotta have Joey on the show, man, because he's the best. Whatever you say is good. It's gold. Whatever you say, Joey's getting.
I love Bradley. I miss him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, clap for Joey. Joey, give yourself an applause. Come on, man. All right. So high school level theater.
High school level theater, there's only so much depth that you can go into as a teenager because you really haven't experienced life, or like most of the youth hasn't really experienced loss or severe loss, hasn't experienced being deeply in love, things like that.
I'm gonna interrupt you and I'm gonna fight you on this because I think teenagers out there have experienced a lot, and I think that they go through a lot and they've got a lot of feeling. Here's what I think is the issue with high school theater, and it's not high school theater's fault. This is so I think they're doing the best they can. They don't have the time, and they don't have necessarily like. Not even everybody wants to be there always. You know what I mean? So you get a group of kids together, and then instead of diving into the play until the play is ready to be put up, you're always on this time constraint. And it's like, hey, we've got 3 weeks to put up the play, but half the kids don't have their lines memorized till like the day before, and then they go up. Like that's kind of high school theater. And so I think the instructor is usually fighting with two things. Hey, memorize your lines and speak loud enough so people can hear you. Right. And so they don't really get to dive in. That's my guess. Because I don't know. I feel like as a teenager, you probably already did have a lot of feelings. You'd already been moved around a bit and done some different things. And I know a lot of teenagers out there, I don't want them to think that, hey, just because they're young, they can't act at a super high level,
Right. I should. That's a good point. I'm gonna amend what I said, or at least I'm gonna change it a little bit.
Rewind.
With teenagers though, and academia especially, I think there's a barrier there between the teacher and the student, where there's only so far they want to go with these young kids because they're so impressionable.
Yeah.
So you aren't gonna, in high school, you're not gonna be doing some of the plays that you might be doing if you're studying acting as someone in your mid-20s.
Right.
So that's probably a better representation of what I mean there. So I forgot what the question was now.
So you came to Deering and you looked at acting a little bit different.
Yes. So it was more about playing a role in high school. And then even when I took some acting courses in the time that I'd moved around since then, there wasn't much instruction about the feeling part of it and the actual emotion part of it, which is the foundation, and it should be the foundation. Being at Deering kind of let me let go of my insecurities with emoting, because I always felt like I had to be straight-faced and I had to have control of the situation. And you guys kind of stripped me away from that so that way I can actually feel whatever the character is supposed to be feeling in the scene. So that's, I just kind of like learn to just be in it versus playing it.
I'm really glad we helped you with that that being able to emote thing. I think we've got a clip here, Joey, of Bradley emoting.
Oh, no!
He says, no!
I know this is Bradley approved because Bradley put it up online. So I mean, I think this is from Instagram, but it's a representation of a TikTok, I believe. Can we do this, Joey, or should I bring this up later?
No, we can do it. I have to take him out of full screen over here.
Oh, it's the full screen.
Yeah, it's the full screen.
It holds you back, I'm telling you.
Yeah, Matt really doesn't like that.
I like full screen. I just only when it's needed. Here we go.
Here's the thing.
All right.
You don't like full
this is
screen. Don't lie.
I do like full screen. All right. So are we on the right HDMI here?
Yeah.
All right. So this is called this is Nobody's Sister Act 2. I think.
Oh, you want to do this one? Oh,
yeah.
All right. Here we go. Pull it down to the program.
Here we go. Play the other one too, where he plays all the characters.
All right, sounds good. Here we go.
This is 11-year-old me when mom sent me to buy some.
I don't want your money. I got this just for you. Keep your money. There's nothing I won't do for you. I'll come through for you every time. I don't want your money.
Amazing. See, I think the world can thank me for helping you emote because this is some good stuff.
I thank you, Matt.
I mean, I would say that's definitely quality content right there.
No, but for real, man, I've been following you. You're doing good stuff. You're doing creative things, good things. Honestly, stuff that makes people smile, and it makes me smile anyway. So we usually save this for later, but I'm just gonna do it now. You need to follow Mr. Bradley. It's at Bradley.Bedford on Instagram. That's at BRADLEY.Bedford on Instagram. And for those of you on TikTok, and you should be on TikTok, if you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok, learn it. I know it's scary. I get it. It's something new. I get it. It's like, oh, I don't want another social media. Like, oh, are you kidding me? I don't want to. You got to do it. Unfortunately, you have to do it. But guess what? I was feeling the same way. Now I'm doing it. It's kind of fun. Bradley's really good at it. So if nothing else, just go there and watch his stuff. He's at Bradley.Bedford on TikTok as well. I like the consistency with the branding, Bradley. Good job.
Branding. Yeah.
Hashtag Bradley branded. We're gonna call it Bradley branded, I think.
That's the Bradley branded horn.
There's branded, and then there's Bradley branded. You want to be Bradley branded. Yeah. That's.
I might actually change it to that. Bradley.branded.
Heck yeah, dude. That's your new actor last name.
Yeah.
Bradley branded. Okay.
Actually, Bedford actually came from the street I was born on.
Really?
I was born. Yeah. So I was born on Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn, and I was born in a building instead of at the hospital. Not because like we did a natural thing or anything like that. My mom just didn't make it out quick enough, so I was born on a staircase. So I was like, that's a good last name. It's the street I was literally born on.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's the street I was literally born on. Oh my gosh.
You should have gone with Bradley Staircase.
Bradley Steppin.
Hey, my name's Bradley. Steppin' time on the Bradley. I don't know what's going on here, Joey. We're going nuts. So you were represented in Arizona by the Leighton Agency. We're fans of the Leighton Agency over here and all the great Arizona agencies. Woot woot to the Leightons. And you're unrepresented in Cali because you're paving your own way out there. So tell me about what you're doing right now and how you're kind of etching your way and what is your strategic path you've got in front of you.
So first off, LA was always like the goal for me and where I wanted to go, but I'm so glad that I started somewhere else and came here because the industry here is so complicated and has so many moving parts and a lot of things for you to think about. When do you want to do this step and when will it be most beneficial to jump to this? And, all those things, trying to navigate that would be tough if you didn't actually have experience doing it to some capacity somewhere else. So coming here, one of my main goals was to join the union and to get eligibility so that way I would be able to better market myself as a serious actor. Once you join the union, then I would be able to go out and, look for agents and audition for agents and look like I actually took the work, and did the work to be taken seriously. So that's been what my main focus was. So I've been doing a lot of background work to get that. And I'm 2/3 of the way there. I need like one more sign off to get there. But what I was planning on doing before COVID hit and what I'm planning to do as soon as they lift it is to get back into class and start focusing on the craft again, just to give myself a break from, the business paperwork and, all the white collar side of it that
no reason to wait. No reason to wait, Bradley. Joey, can we get Bradley into class tonight?
Yeah.
You're in class tonight, sir.
What?
Welcome to improv class. Congratulations. 8 o'clock Arizona time.
Which is also 8 o'clock LA time. Bradley found out that this morning. He got up an hour early.
Bradley, welcome to improv class. Give him a round of applause. Yes.
I love this guy. He's so great.
I love him. He's so good. He's great. Yeah, we're not gonna let a little COVID stop us from being in class. Heck no, man. Excuses are out the window, bro. All right, good. So you're going to get back into classes. You're going to get back into auditioning. Here's what I love about Bradley's goal. So I want to help everybody understand this and know that I fully respect where he's coming from. And, I was one of the people who had the opportunity to give Bradley some advice early on when he was transitioning from Arizona to LA and kind of helping him with these steps. And what I love about his goal is not wrapped around something that he can't control. So he's not like, I'm going to get this agent at this person or I'm going to land this particular gig or something. Because the problem is if you say you're going to land a movie, let's just say, you might land a movie and then end up ruining your career because of it. Even if you get the lead, like it could be something you weren't ready for that thing and now all of a sudden you're known for bad acting. Like that would not be something you want. You don't want the promotion before you've earned it. So what Bradley has done is he set himself a goal to become the SAG eligible, which is one of those things where you have to have done enough jobs that are considered to be that all of a sudden they'll give you that title. So what he's done is he's created a goal that literally is 100% wrapped around his own work ethic. So he's now set a goal that he knows he can achieve. Now, he may get there faster because if you end up landing like a big SAG movie where you get a role, then all of a sudden you just get to skip right to like, okay, that goal's done, cool. But if not, then he said, I can just do enough extra roles and enough things systematically that now I have this on my resume and I'm stacking this up toward the next step. He's not trying to go out there and like skip steps and just go like, oh, free fall, like I just think I'm gonna make it. And I think that's when people get really discouraged because they go out there and it's like it's okay. Like I highly recommend LA, but I also recommend New York and Arizona and all kinds of different places because it's really about what you do of it. You know, like this is your career. Everybody can find their own niche, their own way to do this. And if you try to just follow somebody else's footsteps exactly, it's never going to work because those are their footsteps, not yours. So highly respect what you're doing out there, Bradley. Let's go back to the 2-shot here so I can talk to my man. All right, good. So you had a question for me on your list here that said, what advice would I give for beginning actors?
Yeah.
Before I get there, and I may not get there because I just went on a rant here, I actually would love to flip that one on you because, you know, you're here, you're in LA, you're further along than some people, and they might look at you and go, oh, wow, how do I get to where he's at? You know what I mean? And that's something for people to understand. There's always going to be somebody that's like further along than you, right? And you're always going to feel whatever. But from where you're at, you're sitting in LA. You've been there about a year. You're doing some things in your own systematic way. What advice would you give to a new actor who just wants to be an actor? We'll just start there.
So that question it's a great question to ask because I can follow up on what you were saying earlier about not skipping steps. The biggest thing, and 100%, I've been telling people this about discouraging yourself in this field. The biggest thing is to be realistic and to not think that huge advancements are going to happen at any given moment that are going to change things 100%. Just work on the little things, set goals and small tasks for you to build up to where you want to be. And you'll be more satisfied and more proud of yourself doing that than to say, hey, you know, I landed this really big thing and I don't know where to go from here. Or maybe I never landed that big thing, and so I must be doing really bad. I think a lot of actors, some people I know personally included, some friends of mine who kind of idealize and glamorize the idea of being an actor, pursuing acting and being out in LA. But even when you say that, people look at me thinking, oh, how did he get there? I don't think I've gone very far, you know? Like, yes, I'm in LA, you know, yes, I'm actively working, trying to get to my next goal, but I stay level-headed in that I'm not expecting any big major thing to happen to change my life around right now. With that said, if it does happen because of my work ethic or what I have going on or my plans, then great, you know, then I'm accelerated faster than I expected to, but I don't ever set out for that to be the expectation. Even when I was in Arizona, before I was represented, I went to class and I was like, this is hard, you know, what am I doing wrong? Like, how do I fix it? I would go to the advanced classes as a beginner and think, like, they're so good. How do I get there? And people would ask me, oh, do you have an agent yet? And I'm like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking, how do I get to that other room with the advanced kids, you know?
Yeah.
And people would follow up, okay, you've been doing this for a while. You're going to look for an agent. What's your plan? Don't wait. And I say, no. I'll wait till I feel like I'm where I need to be to do that. And it ended up happening that I booked a commercial gig just spontaneously and with the help of your studio. Ruth Layton, who, you know, runs a Layton agency out there, she reached out to me. Before I had braces, I was not prepared to get an agent yet, but she reached out to me before I thought I was ready, and she made me audition, and then I landed an agent. That's a perfect example of something that happens that, you know, it just happens naturally, and it's great for your career, but you don't seek out for that kind of stuff, because if it didn't happen, had I been seeking that out and it didn't happen, I would have been down on myself because it didn't happen. So just focus on doing the things that you can do. And I advocate for mostly training and being good.
Yeah.
Even to this day, like I think I'm a pretty decent actor, but like I'm not anywhere near where I want to be in terms of skill level, and I would never sit there and and think that I've reached it. Like I'm good. I should go out there and do it. But no, I need to keep training until forever.
and the greats out there, I'm talking about the great actors, and we can name them on maybe both hands. Like the great actors, they're all still getting better.
Yeah. They're
doing challenging work. They're working with coaches. Like they are becoming better at acting. So every day you choose not to get better is a day that they continue to further themselves away from you,
Right.
So you want to look at like that as an actor and go, okay, my job is to work. How do I work? I work on me. I work on my craft. I work on studying and just getting better and be in awe of the people that are so much better than you. Don't idolize them, but be in awe of them and be in awe of their work ethic and watch them in a role. And because you're an actor, you don't get to sit back anymore. I don't get to sit back and just enjoy a movie. Or if I do, I have to watch it again because I have to sit back and go, that actor did some amazing work. How did they get there? And I got to ask myself that question and think like, if I had that role, could I have pulled it off? And there's so many times that I watch a movie and I'm like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I don't know how I would have done the work to get to the same choice that actor got to, and that was the right choice. Good for them. I got to get back to the drawing board.
Sometimes when I watch TV shows, and you let me know if you ever do this too, but sometimes I watch TV shows and they will deliver not even a monologue, just a couple quick lines, and I'll like how they did it so much. And I find them so believable. And I'm like, I wonder if I can be that believable. And I get myself in my headspace and I'm like, and I just start talking to myself out loud, just delivering these lines, like trying to see if I can do it well or decently. One of the things that I used to do, and I would still do it if things were being produced right now, when they would send background actors to holding, if they allowed me to, I would actually just stick around to the side on set and watch, the lead actors perform, because especially if I like their acting, because I felt like it was so inspiring to see them in their element and kind of a bit of motivation to me too. There's I don't know if you watch a show called Big Little Lies on HBO.
I don't watch it regularly, but I know of it and I have seen some episodes.
All right. So Meryl Streep's on it, right?
No, is she in the next season? She wasn't in the first season, I don't think.
Yeah, she's in the second one.
Okay, no, I haven't seen the second season at all.
Of course, she's great. Like not just her, because she's always great, but her character is a great character too. There was an interview that was done with one of the cast members where the HBO person interviewer asked the character, like, hey, young person, hey, do you get to see Meryl Streep act? Do you get to come in and just watch her do her scenes? And the actor, who again is a teenager, goes, yeah, I mean, I've come a little bit early and then passed by and saw her acting, yeah. And that comment made me be like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You came a little bit early and just, oh yeah, this Meryl Streep acting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It killed me.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no,
what are you doing?
That comes from an amount of humility that you want to have. If you can keep yourself humble and grounded and down to earth, where you can look and go, even bad acting, like you can check in on something and go, okay, that's something I don't want to do. Like there's always something to learn from just about everybody on a set. And so you want to stay aware. That's another thing you want to do is just, and you've already mentioned it, but not let yourself get sort of like swept up in the hype. It's so easy to feel that way because all of a sudden you're sitting in a chair and someone's doing your makeup and they got you on a call sheet and you feel very important for a second, until the lead shows up and then you realize how small you really are. But yeah, that's good advice, dude. I really, really appreciate that. All right, so what do you got for me next?
Me?
Yeah, you got some questions, yeah?
Put me on the spot.
I think that me came from the last question he asked you. You flipped on him.
I did do that. I flipped it. All right.
So he was like, Are you questioning me or am I questioning you?
So you wanted to know something about the people I surround myself with, right? Can you? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So what do you? Because I have certain philosophies on this. What do you feel about the circles that you keep around you in terms of being able to just be motivated and to also not create negativity, not just career-wise either, but just to not create negative energy around you? How do you manage those circles?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've done is I created bubbles for myself. So I put people in bubbles. So it's an exercise I have in the book that's coming out, The Best Listener in the Room. This idea of certain people are the way they are, and they're not going to change. And if I choose to keep them in my life, which is a big choice, and we'll get to that in a second, but if I choose to keep them in my life, then they're going to live in a bubble. And when they do the thing that is negative or disappointing or whatever, it doesn't affect me because I expect it from them. And sort of like their negativity gets reverberated in their own bubble and goes right back on them. And I choose not to carry it. So I'm like, okay, you're going to be where you are. If you burst out of your own bubble and you become somebody new, I'll put you in a new bubble and I'll be excited to do that. But until then, you're going to stay over there. But as far as like the circles that you really have a choice about, you know, because let's say your dad is negative or something, or your mom is negative. You love your mom or your dad, and let's just say you're never going to choose to not have them in your life if you feel that way. So there might be nothing you can do about that. So you got to put them in a bubble. Other people you're going to have to say goodbye to, and you're going to have to release them. I do believe firmly in the power of our minds, like what our mind is capable of doing, and how we are sensitive animals. So when somebody comes in with a particular type of energy, it can really, really affect you. And so the people you choose to surround yourself with 98% of the time will dictate the future of your life. So I have an affirmation that I say every night and every morning. It's number 3 on the list. So number 1 is God, number 2 is family, number 3 is about the people I surround myself with, like Joey. And it is this: I am so happy and grateful now that I've surrounded myself with purpose-driven people who are in alignment with my vision and values. That's it. So I know that that's my standard. If you don't align with my vision and values, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. You may be negative. You may think down on me. You may talk smack about me behind my back. Any of that may be true. But the truth is, you're going through your own thing, and I'll love you right where you are from your bubble that I put you in. But you can't affect me, and it's not a surprise to me that you moved on because you don't align with my vision and values. If and when those things change for you, you will be drawn back in, and we will be connecting again. Either way, I love you just as much as I did before, but I've released you completely because I have to protect myself. I got to keep myself in this sphere of people who are purpose-driven. So I don't even care that I don't care that Joey a year ago was not an expert in this stuff that he's doing now. I cared that he was purpose-driven. I cared that he wanted to get better. And I told him this, if that attitude ever changed, I would ask him to leave, and he knows that. But I told him in the same regard, if I ever stop growing, if I ever stop challenging myself and taking myself next level, dude, you should go somewhere else. Like, do not stay here because we're not going to challenge you anymore. So you have to think that way and not be afraid of it. Not like it's not a fearful thing. I finally got to a place where I released everybody, just a complete release of everybody. And this is really like a God thing. Like I have a faith that it's okay, that I can let go completely. And as I do that, then all of a sudden it's like I'm free to be me exactly the way that I am. And then just have a faith and trust too. You know, the people that you surround yourself with, you really need to trust them. And if there's even like the slightest little inkling inside you that's like, there's something about that person, you probably should be careful, like really careful about, spending too much time with somebody that gives you that little, even teeniest bit of icky feeling inside.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people kind of cling to people they know are just they just create these negative spaces in their life.
Yeah.
Oftentimes because they don't value themselves over other people. And I think that's something that anybody who's in that position should learn to change. And it's hard because people have esteem issues, or think, I don't deserve to have friends of this caliber, so I'm going to keep around friends of this caliber because I've known them since I was 6 or 7 years old, even though they make me feel terrible, or even though every time I speak to them, they're very discouraging, or, they say hateful things. And I think that's a big problem with people who keep themselves in those spaces. The problem is if you do that, you're never really going to end up in a spot where you're just genuinely happy where you are and content where you are.
Yeah, that's
and you can't move forward if you're not happy now. You
and I believe the exact same thing when it comes to this, and how important it is. And on the flip side of that, so you were talking about childhood friends, and you're so right about it. The other side of it, especially you look into our industry, but really any industry, it also comes back to like the idea of trying to be friends with the cool kids, or trying to be friends with people that look like they have something going for them on paper. And so, and then what's interesting is you may not actually be their friend. It looks and sounds and feels like you're their friend, but on the inside, you're just another, part of their scheming to lift themselves up, so to speak.
Right.
So you just got to be so careful about even the fame and stuff too. Like it's not about that. Like if the first thing somebody asks you is what have you been in lately? What have you been doing? They're not a friend. Like that's the truth. Like they're not like they might like you or care about you, whatever, but that's not what a friend does. A friend doesn't go like, hey, so what are you doing? Like, in other words, like, should I still be your friend?
Right. Should I still look at you and be inspired, or should I?
Yeah. Or should I go find someone else?
Yeah. I completely agree with that. My closest friends, I have close friends who I talk to them about literally everything except acting. We'll talk about the day, but I also have close friends. We got on conference calls every couple weeks, and we'll talk about like, hey, I have one buddy who's always telling me, hey, I have this idea for you. What do you think about doing this? Because I really like how you put your content together like this. You should do this. And he'll like come up with these, extreme ways that he thinks I can better myself or use something I have going on. Sometimes to a fault, because he'll text me in the middle of the day and he'll be like, "Ooh, bro, I got it. Here's what you could do." But that's the kind of positivity that I feel everyone in your circle should bring you.
And you call it positivity, which I love, and not everybody would, by the way. And that's the other thing, is I believe you need to surround yourself with those people that are going to grind you a little bit, that are going to hold up a mirror, that are going to actually push you to be better. If you have friends that are telling you that you're good, but they're not telling you like, hey, also here's where you can get better, that's, I think, a big, like, you'd have a hole there. You need someone going, hey Bradley, loved your video, but what about this next time? Like, you want that friend, right? Like, you want someone to push you and make you better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's loving you the best he can at the highest level by, and of course, he's doing it in the best way because he's getting excited about giving you the critique. He's
like, so just for reference, I deactivated my Facebook last year, and he texted me saying, hey, can you just reactivate your Facebook for a little bit? I want to pull down some of your old posts so I can show you what I'm talking about. And I'm like, no. But yeah.
So you didn't reactivate it?
I didn't reactivate it. I'll probably reactivate it sometime in the late summer. I want to hit a year mark.
Okay.
Before
fair. Did you get addicted or something? What was the reason?
So around last July, I got to a point where I wasn't giving myself a lot of grace, and I had been in California for 6 months at that point, with the first 3 months apartment hunting and the following 3 months getting settled in. And I hadn't done anything actively to take my next steps professionally, or try to get out there and work, or to train or anything like that. And I was disappointed in myself for it, because I'm very strict about that kind of stuff with myself, not standing still. And I realized a huge problem that I have is that I don't have a lot of time in the day. Sorry. It's not for reasons of I'm wasting time or anything like that. Like I work full time, but then I also have like errands and responsibilities that I got to take care of. But I did know that I didn't have the time for it and I needed to make the time. The only thing I could think of to cut back on any little minute of the day that I can capitalize on is keeping myself from looking at my phone or going on social media. So at the time I deactivated all of my social media for a couple months. And I still haven't gotten back on Facebook because without it, I realized how little I actually care to have it. And the only reason I got back on Instagram was for networking purposes when I would meet people.
Well, and I'd say the same thing about Facebook. So you do need to get back on there. I respect what you did. I think do it at the end of the summer, but use it. I mean, it is a great tool. It's something that I think we as a studio were neglecting for a while, truthfully, because we were sort of Instagram people. That's the way we thought of ourselves. You know, we're like Facebook feels hard. It kind of like TikTok. Like it feels hard to add something new, right? But it is a powerful tool. It's a great networking tool. The idea though is you have to be in full control of those tools. You know, you have to have systems in place. You have to really know how you plan on using each one to benefit the world. You know, like I really believe this, Bradley. You're benefiting the world with what I see on Instagram and what I see on TikTok. You are bringing light and love into the world. You are making people smile. You are inspiring people. I believe it. And so it's important that you do that. And I think you spend ideally with social media, you create a very strict schedule for yourself. And the schedule goes like this. So for you, you're such a talented writer. You really are. You got to keep writing, producing, and putting light out there. Write, produce, put out. Light, produce, put out. Then when you go to do the put out part and you're gonna put love out in the world, just give yourself whatever the window is. Let's say it's 20 minutes. So I'm going to take 20 minutes. I'm going to upload my thing, put it out, you know, tag it all correctly and whatnot. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to seek out people who are doing like-minded things. So anybody else who's putting out light-driven content and who I really appreciate what they're doing on social media, I'm just gonna go comment and put a heart on their thing or whatever it is. Just very quickly, just say I appreciate you, and then turn it off. And then the next day, you don't check and see how your views went. Like you don't check and see how many likes you got because you don't care. It's not about that. The next day, then the only thing you're gonna do is you're gonna just keep up the maintenance of it. So you'll come in and you go, I want to make sure I didn't miss any messages. You know, just like check in with anybody that commented, set my timer again, boom, 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 send out love, just shut it off. And that's how you can build a huge following, by the way, because people, they like to be appreciated. So you keep appreciating me over and over and over again. Eventually, I'm going to know who you are. I actually have two examples of this from our Instagram, actually, that I'm gonna right now on the show, I'm going to shout out two people who don't even know that I know them necessarily. One of them is Miss Curry Cares. She's this woman. She just started liking all our stuff, following our stuff, commenting on our stuff. She doesn't even have a huge following. You should follow her. She's hilarious. Miss Curry Cares. So funny. Miss Curry Cares. Yeah. And it's so funny because like all of a sudden her face and her like who she is comes into my mind when I think about Instagram because she's so loving to our account. She's so kind. Like she's always saying something nice or whatever, just saying, "Oh, I appreciate what you guys are doing." It's amazing. And I don't even know her. Like it's incredible. And then another kid who's come here before and who's been done castings and stuff, but same type of deal. Is it Will Palo? Is that right?
Will Polo.
Will Polo. This kid, I mean, he's a young actor and same deal. Like he's always like very intentional about his comments. So like those two people specifically have made an impact just on how they love our account. So now, do you think like over time that's going to benefit them? Yeah, it just did. Like just now on their show, on our show, I'm shouting them out. If they came in for a casting or anything, you know, like I'd love to have both of them on the show. Speaking of, like, why not? Like I would love that. You know, they're doing good things in the world. I'd love to support them back. You know, like that's the idea. So when you operate in that way, I think it's safe and you protect yourself. The thing everyone's got to do, and there's a few books about this actually, but when you're talking about protecting your time, it's just got to be on a schedule. So if the phone can be this powerful, like this is a computer, right? Like this thing is so powerful. The problem is we put it next to our bed. I've got it next to me right now, but mine's on silent. You know, there's a difference. If it's on silent, there's no notifications. I cannot get distracted right now. It's not possible. Normally, I would have this in the other room, actually. Like, I'd prefer it to be not even near me. So what you have to do with all your social media is you have to turn off all the notifications so that they don't get to tell you when they are important. That's the thing.
That is my issue. My issue is with having the discipline to know how long to spend on it and when to check it and when to go in it. When I had Facebook, I found myself constantly filling up empty spaces of time with it only because there was nothing to do with my hands. I'd be on the elevator waiting to go down. And it's like, well, I don't have anything else going on. I guess I'll go on my phone and go on Facebook.
Right.
Or I'd be at work and my computer would be loading and it would freeze up. And I'm like, well, I have nothing to do. So, next thing I know, I'm spending 10 minutes on Facebook on my phone and my computer finished loading 5 minutes ago. That's the discipline that I didn't have. And when I first deleted Facebook, I realized how awkward it was because I would be at a dentist appointment and I'd be sitting in the waiting room and immediately I'd pull out my phone to try to check Facebook. And I'd be like, wait, I can't do that. I guess I'll respond to that email that I should have responded to, or maybe I'll, submit to a couple of auditions that got emailed to me because before I thought I didn't have the time to do it, but now I have to find something to fill up Facebook's void, So yeah, I will reactivate it. I think when I do it though, I have to put myself on a strict schedule. I liked creating content on Facebook and I got good feedback from it. Couple of people were upset when they realized that I took down my account. But yeah, I just have to figure out how to balance it right.
Yeah, and you will, and you absolutely will. I think it's just if you just follow this guideline basically, and the phones actually they do help you with this these days. So you can set like timers. You can actually, like on my phone, you can only go on for a certain amount of time, and then my phone won't let me in to any of those apps unless I override the system. So
what phone do you have, man?
It's just an iPhone. You can just set.
You show me after this. You better show me how to.
Yeah. Well, you just Google it, like how to lock yourself out of your apps. You want to do this, so you basically can say, I only want to spend 20 minutes a day on Instagram or something like that. Then it'll, when you go to open it again, it'll go, nope, you said you don't want to go in there. Are you sure you want to go against what you told us you want to do? And then you have to sit there and think about it. You gotta go, and it's harder. And any obstacle you can give yourself, any obstacle is good. Like you said, like it's so easy to just pull it out and grab it. That's why we go there so quickly, because it's easy. Our brains automatically go to what's easy. I think it's Les Brown that says, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy.
I like that quote a lot.
It's a great quote. And so think about what you're doing right now in LA. You are doing what is hard. Your life is going to be easy. Things are going to work out for you the way that they already have. They're going to continue to do that. If you try to do what's easy, it's going to be hard long run. Like that's just how it goes. So, this is good stuff, buddy. Really, really good stuff. I appreciate that. All right. So you asked me here, how do you maintain self-esteem, and what changes can someone make to better it?
Yes.
Is that something you struggle with, or where did the question come from?
So with self-esteem, I think I probably had low self-esteem when I was younger. And as I came to mature as an adult, and I think part of it was living with myself for a very long time, meaning, I haven't had roommates since I was like in my early 20s. And I've moved around to different spaces where I didn't know a lot of people. So it forced me to be with myself for literally years.
Yeah.
And because of that, I feel like I have a great understanding and relationship with myself to the point where I built that self-esteem. But for people who don't have self-esteem still now, how do you think they can get to that point?
Okay, so I'm gonna connect this with your last question, which is how have you learned to understand yourself better, and what are the advantages? Because I think they're very connected. So if we think about this idea, the term self-esteem, I think you can break that into self-love. and self-love comes from forgiveness. So you have to dive into you. I think that's really important. You gotta let yourself, like you did. You gave us all great advice, which is find the core, find the root of some of the problems that are coming up, and then rip them out. So for you, it maybe in this moment, it was social media or Facebook or something that was helping dwell you back into negativity. And every time you found it, you'd go into some wormhole and see someone doing better than you were, and it brings you into this negative state, and it's just like, well, and it pulls you down, right? So I'm gonna take that thing, I'm gonna uproot it and get rid of it, right? You have to really spend time with you. Just you, go inside your own mind, and it can be dark in there because we've all got past, we've all got, you know, things that in our lives that we're not proud of. We have experiences that were scary. You know, all that stuff is in there. So you got to go in there, you got to deal with it, and then you got to release it. You got to understand that you are loved. And I think self-esteem comes from, it's really just if I love me first, then I can give then I have enough to give everybody else. But if I try to just love everybody else, and then I'm kind of putting on a front, and on the inside I'm really kind of hollow in here. So the way it helped me was somebody, one of my mentors told me this, said, you know, God is inside of us, right? So God loves us like a father loves a son. And then he's like, okay, so imagine your son, imagine your boy, and he does something wrong. And he knew it was wrong. You told him not to do it. He did it anyway. He feels bad about it. He cries and he asks for forgiveness, and you say,
this all sounds so familiar, by the way, Matt, not to interrupt you, but this all sounds familiar.
I've probably said the story before. Yeah, I don't know.
No. I mean, the being a son and not listening, and then doing what you're told not to do, and then feeling bad about it. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like bringing up like PTSD or something. I don't know. Go ahead.
It's all over the Bible. You should read that book. It's a pretty good one. So I as the father, you know, forgive him. It's like, it's okay, buddy. You know, like you didn't mean it, whatever. And so we move forward. 7 years later, me as his dad, do I bring up what he did when he was 4? And say, hey, and by the way, I want you to still feel guilty about this thing. I want this thing to really eat you up. I want this thing you did when you were 4, 7 years ago, to stop you from having a successful relationship, to stop you from being what you're capable of doing in your career. Of course not. The Father doesn't do that. The Father has already forgiven and is trying to help you move you forward. But what we do ourselves, what we do to ourselves, we parent ourselves in this really horrific way where we keep going back to these past things, and we keep punishing ourselves. We keep reminding ourselves of how bad we were, and how, you know, and it just becomes this like swelling of negativity. So we have to really forgive it for real. We got to let it go for real, and then move on. And from that place of healing, you can start to be free. You can start to be honest. You can say, yes, this is true. Like, this is who I am. This is who I was, and here's what I am now. I'm essentially reborn. So you can talk about your experiences the way you have, very honestly, and you now are teaching the world. You are preaching. You are loving everybody by going to your dark. You did that today. You helped a lot of people because you said, here was my thing. This was the area. Honestly, I was slacking in this way. Look at how weak I was, everybody. Look at what a weak little child I was. But I took this thing away, and then I overcame it. Now all of a sudden these other things like came into place, and I realized I was lying to myself. Like, that's you being honest. Right. Because you're free. You're free to do so, and you found a way to love yourself. So you're in this really good place. And like you said, you lived alone, right? So you were forced to spend time with Bradley. You were forced to go inside you, deal with you, and kind of come to the other side of that thing. And now it's like, all right, now I have a purpose. I know what I'm supposed to do in the world. And now, are you going to fall? Of course. You're gonna fall time and time again. But the idea is to notice it quicker, release it quicker, forgive quicker, move on quicker. And I always say, in the face of crisis, in the face of fear, in the face of hate, love. That's the first thing you do. Serve, love, serve, love, serve, love. And that's the only way to protect yourself. If you do that, you can protect yourself from all those evil, nasty, negative people, evil, nasty, negative feelings and thoughts and all the things that are going on in your mind. And again, self-esteem is self-love. What you tell yourself becomes true. So you gotta be so aware of those thoughts. And that's why for me, I open the day with the Bible. I open the day with my affirmations about who I am, who I plan to be, and the fact that I'm grateful for today. You ask me how I'm doing today, I'm going to tell you happy to be alive, because I really am. I wake up that way, and it's a choice. I remind myself to go, I'm happy to be alive. I get another day today. What am I going to do with today? Like every day is like that for me, but it's a choice. You know, I could be like sad and grumpy like everybody else, or I could just go, dude, today you're alive. Like God chose to wake you up this morning. You didn't have to do that. You could have just died in your sleep. He said you get another day. What are you going to do with that day? That's the way I look at it.
You know, it's funny you say that because I think there's, for some reason, it's kind of a cultural thing here where if someone actually does say nice things to themselves to a certain extent, everybody else is just made to resent that. Not resent them, but resent the fact that they think good things about themselves. There's this toxic idea that if someone says, hey, you know, I'm an amazing cook, that other people are gonna be like, wow, like why would you compliment your own cooking? Like that's really cocky. Are you a chef? No. So why? You know, things like that. I think it's detrimental to mental health. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are made to suppress good feelings about themselves.
So hold up. So I actually have a response to that. So I'm an amazing cook. I'm not really, but you are. But let's just say, okay. So I want to say out loud, I'm an amazing cook. Okay. Here's the deal. When I say I'm an amazing cook, there's 3 people in my life that respond negatively because they don't like to hear me saying positive things about myself. So every time I say it out loud in front of those 3 people, I get pain. I'm going to remember it. I'm going to put them in a bubble. I'm going to love them right where they are, but I'm not going to say those things in front of those people. There are other people, when you say I'm an amazing cook, that are going to go, yeah, you are, or really, like, how'd you learn? Like, tell me about that. Like, what did you do? How'd you study? Like, did you learn it yourself? Those people, I'm going to share that kind of information with. So it's not like I'm going to cut these other friends out completely, but there are certain things that they get to have a part of my life, and I'm going to choose to be careful of what I say to certain people because of the response that I get and how it makes me feel afterward. And if you really trust somebody, you can be very, very honest with them with the way that they reacted to something.
Now, where do you draw the line, though? So with those people that you place in the bubble that you would never tell them, I'm an amazing cook, because you know they respond in a way that hurts you. At what point do you say, this person, even though I love them, doesn't get to be in a bubble? This person can be just completely out of my life and I love them from afar, but they're not going to be in a bubble.
So it's kind of a pros and cons list, honestly. So you have to look at it and go, what are they really bringing to the table? What are they like? What is the baggage they bring? And you kind of got to lay it out and just go, you know what? At this point in time, they're really not serving my life. They're holding me back in certain ways. And you don't have to be mean about it, but you just kind of move forward and you become a little less available and this and that. And it's like, okay, that is what it is. But my thought is, I believe in the prodigal son story. So for me, especially people that left or like left harshly or anything like that, my arms are so wide open. I cannot wait to welcome somebody back to our studio. Like, people leave, and people leave for good reasons and bad reasons and all kinds of reasons on the in-between. But usually it's one of 2 things. It's either they weren't ready for what I had to say, or I wasn't prepared enough to teach them what they needed to hear. Either way. So we can both take responsibility, but eventually my thought is they all come back. So as eventually, like, Bradley's now back, and I don't know why you got drawn in. I don't know why Brian reached out to you or however it went down that you're on the show. I actually really don't know how it is, but I was so excited to see you and talk to you and be like, oh, Bradley, you know what I mean? Like, so now we're reconnected in this way. So you think about this, and I listen to your story and where you're going and what you've been doing, and to me, it's like, well, it's not a surprise that you're being drawn back. Like, there's no surprise whatsoever. You are a purpose-driven person who's in alignment with my vision and values. Of course, you're going to be a part of my circle. Like, of course. If there was ever a time when you were venturing out of that for whatever reason, maybe you don't fit into my circle at this exact time. That's okay. Like, that's all right. So when you release these people, it's not like I'm releasing them forever and I'm saying like goodbye, like I'll love you from afar, but I'll never talk to you again. It's like they need time to deal with them. And until you've released them and they've released you, they don't get to grow and develop and change. It's kind of like having a girlfriend and you know it's not supposed to be, but you hang on long enough and you hang on longer and you hang on longer, even though you know you're going to break up with her. You let it drag out an extra year. That's not good for you or for her. It's not fair for her. You needed to release her quicker so that she could grow herself and she could change and develop into the person she's supposed to be. And then guess what? Who knows? You two might end up back together. But if you hold on for that year, then it gets painful. Then you say things you regret. Then you do things where it's irreparable and you've actually created some damage. And I can admit, those are things that I've done in the past, like even with the studio or different relationships and things where maybe I knew it wasn't right, and I held on too long, and I should have let go. Should have been more free. I just hadn't learned that skill yet to really just release. You know, because when you hold on too long to somebody and you try to fight for them, even though like they're just you know they're not in alignment, you got to let go.
Okay.
Let go, Bradley. Like I know it's scary. It's scary. It's scary. All right, so you asked me, we're going to end here. You asked me, what effect do I want to have on the people I meet? A positive effect. I want the people that I meet to feel like they're challenged, like they're growing, like I'm somebody who listens to them and respects them. And I am curious, legitimately curious, on how can I grow every time I meet any human being, no matter what their walk of life is, no matter what their age is, really. I look for ways to grow. When I teach a 5-year-old girl, I look for ways to grow when I hold my 1-year-old son, and I look for ways to grow when I talk to my 90-year-old grandmother. Like I'm looking for ways to listen and hopefully impact them. So like when I talk to somebody, my goal is for them to hopefully either feel better or feel like they've been challenged and they have a road toward growth. The area that I've been working on that I need to get better at is probably making sure that I'm not giving advice that's unwarranted, because being right is irrelevant.
What do you consider unwarranted advice?
If you didn't ask for it, if you're not ready for it, I could tell you the truth. Let's just say you came on the show and you asked me you asked me something and I steered it into something else that you didn't ask about. And I was like, Bradley, you got to get off social media because this is killing you, blah, blah. And I kind of like rip on you for something that you weren't ready for. You could go into a spiral of negativity. You could end up disliking me and hating me and thinking that I'm a bad person for saying something that was true, but you weren't ready to hear it. You weren't ready to have that, sort of brought up in front of everybody. And so that feeling then you attach to me as being like, oh, he's the guy that punished me, when it wasn't me. Like, you're dealing with your own stuff on the inside and I just brought light to it. But it's sort of like if you're if you come to me and I'm like, I know how to help you quit smoking, but deep inside you're like, I don't really want to quit smoking. We're not going to get along well.
Yeah, that's a bad way to start off a friendship.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm going to keep trying to help you quit smoking. You're like, I don't want to quit. I never said I wanted to quit.
It's like, I actually just picked this up. I like it.
But it's bad for you. Yeah, I know. I know that. I don't want you telling me about it. Yeah, that's what I would consider that.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes when you get good at it, you get better at doing this stuff. And I've been studying listening. You hear things, you see things, and you have to really pick and choose what you dive into and don't.
I think there's a kind of goal that I have when I meet people where I just want them to, if they remember meeting me, like I'm talking people who I might meet once and never see again, or people who I might be good friends with for decades. My only goal is that if they remember the interaction between myself and themselves, that it's positive. That they can think, oh yeah, that was that really cool guy at the party. We talked about this, and that's it. Yeah. That's it. And I don't like setting expectations for where that's going to develop. I don't like for it to feel like, oh, okay, well, hopefully we're friends now, and then we're going to end up going to Vegas and having a good time. I just want to meet the person in that moment. Because of your studio, I kind of learned to listen, even when I know it's going to be a passing conversation. I really listen as if this is somebody I'm going to know for years. and then just let it go.
That's beautiful. I love that. Well, I can tell you that you've had a positive impact on me, my family, this entire studio. We love you so much. We're going to see you in class tonight, which is very exciting.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Send me the link.
Yeah, we will. I'll have Shay reach out to you directly. She'll get you all squared away with the virtual classes. It's pretty cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. This is Mornings with Matt. Please do not forget to hit that little subscribe button. That means the world to us. Share and like these videos. Bradley had a lot of really, really good information, a lot of good advice for young actors, especially somebody thinking about going to LA right now. He really gave some good advice on how to better yourself and how to keep yourself on that track. So if you know anybody, any actors who need this information, need this advice, please share this video with them and just tell them, hey, you got to listen to this kid Bradley. He knows what's going on. Thank you so much. Have a great day. God bless.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.